What is up, guys? Sumi here with ThoughtCast, and today I want to be talking about the car that I drive pretty much every day, my 2008 Acura RDX. So people always ask me why I drive an Acura. You know, this is basically the mom car, but I love it, you know. It's easy to drive, it's simple. Honestly, the car is pretty luxurious. When this car came out in 2008, this was a very nice car. Now, I bought this car used at an auction for about 10 grand, and it had a lot less miles than it has now. Right now, it has about 140,000 miles, and it runs like it's brand new. This car has a turbo in it, and it just runs very well. And this is not in any way sponsored by Acura. It's just that I like the simplicity of this car. See, a lot of people think that life is about flexing and driving the nicest car. I do have a couple of nicer cars in this, but I don't necessarily drive them every day, only if it's a special occasion. The reason being is social media tells us we need to have everything that's new, everything that's nice. We need to travel here, we need to have money in our bank account to an extreme level. That's what the world is telling us to do. But the reality of life is you just need something that gets the job done. This car gets the job done. It gets me from A to B every single day, whether it's in snow, whether it's in rain, whether the weather's wonderful, in any condition. It has all-wheel drive. It's great on gas, especially with gas going up. What more can you ask for? And this car also humbles me. This is not a terrible car, guys. Like, this car handles very nice. It's got heated seats, and it's got everything I need. See, the biggest thing about life is being grateful. Being appreciative for the things that you have. I know this video might seem pretty weird with me talking about my car and how much it means to me, but at the end of the day, driving this car every single day allows me to humble myself and be grateful for everything that I have. I've worked extremely hard to have all the things that I have, including the vehicles that I have, including the place I live. You know, it's nice to have nice things, but ultimately, you don't need them. You don't need them, and the things that are very nice and beautiful on the outside are not always the most reliable thing. Take my Audi, for example. My Audi S8 is a beautiful car. It drives very nicely. It's extremely fast. Most people don't even know what it is. That's the reason I got it. Most people don't know what an Audi S8 is. They don't really understand what's underneath the hood. For those of you that know what Audis are, you might have a little bit more intelligence on this subject. But that being said, it isn't as reliable as my Acura. People buy things to impress people they don't even know. And at the end of the day, I do believe cars are an investment. People will be like, no, they're not, they depreciate, but cars get me to work. Cars get me to make the money that I need to make. And especially if you're buying a very nice vehicle in some commission sales industries, cars also serve as a recruiting tool. But a lot of industries, when you're a dentist, when you're a doctor, when you're a construction worker, they don't necessarily warrant you to buy a very expensive car. If you're in an industry that requires a lot of recruiting, or you have to look a certain way, such as a real estate agent, for example, you might want to invest in a nicer vehicle. But if you're at a level where you don't necessarily need to do that stuff anymore and you have people that are in place, you can go back to the simpler things in life. A lot of CEOs will drive the Rolls Royce and the very nice cars, and you know, I understand you want to enjoy your success, but sometimes it's just nice to be in a regular vehicle that camouflages you amongst the world. So that being said, this video is not about buying an Acura or investing in a car that isn't as nice. Look, you can do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But one of the things that makes me the happiest in life is having a car like this. Having a car that I can afford to mess up. You know, I have a huge dog. He gets in the backseat, he messes it up. I'm not worried about it because I'm living below my means and investing the difference. I'm driving this car every single day, even though I can afford much higher, because financially that's putting me in a position where I can invest and grow my asset base. It's not about spending your money on depreciating assets that aren't really going to get you the return you want. I'm a lot more impressed by someone that invests their money in the right way and that spends very frugally. That's something that's very exciting to me, because if you look at the billionaires in the world, they're not driving the best cars out there. They're driving cars that are well below their means oftentimes, and even if they're buying the most expensive cars out there, it's a fraction of what they're making in a year. See, a lot of people out here will make $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year, but they'll buy a vehicle that's worth $30,000, $40,000. That's literally more than a quarter of their salary. And they'll say, oh, it's financially smart because they're buying a $40,000 vehicle. Then they'll look at the guy that's buying the Ferrari who makes $1 million a year. But that man is buying a $200,000 car when he's making $1 million. In fact, he's percentage-wise a lot better. And his cost of living is only taking 10 to 20% of his salary as well. So he's a lot more disposable income to invest, to grow his portfolio, and to really build his financial success to a higher degree. If you want to be successful in life, you have to learn to be patient and sacrifice the things that bring you pleasure. Don't go ahead and buy that expensive car just because you have the money to do it. Don't go ahead and finance something that will put you in a bad position financially. You know, when I was younger too, I bought a lot of nice cars. I spent that money. Now I've regressed, you know? The first car that I bought when I first had a little bit of money was an exotic sports car. And I spent way too much money on it. I did not need it. And I put myself in a situation where I had to make a car payment. And the logic that I had was, oh, it'll motivate me to be successful. If I'm driving a nice car, it'll make me feel good. But the reality is, if you have to put yourself in a situation where you have to force yourself to be successful, you need to really question if you are ready for that success yet. You should do it because you need to do it just for you, not because everything is putting pressure on you. Pressure is good, but life is going to give you pressure whether you want it or not. Business is going to give you problems. You don't need to put unnecessary pressure upon yourself. So learn to invest in something that's simple, that gets the job done. At the end of the day, it's not about what you drive. It's about what drives you.